Thank you, Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a great honor to be here today with so many family, friends, graduates, master's degree. The graduation ceremony is a very solemn time for everyone, very joyous time. But a master's degree is basically a piece of paper. The most important thing is, what do you do with that piece of paper? What do you do with that master's degree? And actually, when I was asked to come here today, I thought I always go out of my way, because the people in this audience, you guys in the robes, sometimes I was just joking. I said, I feel like I'm in Ocean Park for Halloween, or Allan, Kwai, Fong for Halloween again. Everybody's all dressed up in a costume. And I was trying to figure, where did this come from? But in essence, it's a very important thing. You people are the future of Hong Kong. I've been here in Hong Kong for 48 years, and many of you know my achievements. When I was very young, when my father died when I was 7 years old, and basically, I picked myself up, and you become stronger from adversity. In life, you'll face many, many challenges, but the thing that I've always known is that tomorrow is always a better day. Tomorrow's always a brighter day. I've always, as I was growing up, when I was in school, in primary school and secondary school, I got my first job when I was 10 years old, delivering newspapers before school. I was earning, at that time, 35 Canadian dollars a week delivering newspapers. My friends were getting a $1 allowance, and I didn't come from a rich family. I came from actually a very moderate family. When I was 12, I also then got all dressed up and became working in a steakhouse on weekends. And combined, I was earning $60 Canadian a week. And I was earning, my teachers were earning $35 a week. When I was 16, I was able to buy my own car. I was the only one in school that drove his own car, convertible, and of course, every girl in the school chased me. I was very, very popular. But it just gave me the taste of being an entrepreneur and thinking how important it is to think out of the box, to be creative. For myself, everything I always do, I always look at things not for what they are. I always look at things for what they could be. Think of it like this: the average person in the world looks at things and everyone sees the same thing. Those that are great, those that create greatness in the world, think differently. They look at things totally differently, and they question. And that's something that I've always done, and that's helped me to become successful. When I first started Allan, Kwai, Fong, Allan, Kwai, Fong was just a street, basically. And people looked at it, they saw lapsap, they saw rubbish, old buildings. I looked at it and I saw beauty. And I thought, it's 1 block from Queens Road, the heart of Central. If I could get people to walk 1 block up the road, I could have a business. And I slowly started to buy up the property. I slowly started to develop the area by thinking creatively, thinking very, very different. In my world, I always think of the positive side. In life, the most important thing that I can teach you is to be a positive person, to have confidence in yourself. That's something that I always had. Always have that can-do spirit. In Hong Kong, when I came here 48 years ago, everybody had that can-do spirit. The beauty of Hong Kong, the reason I came here, I started my own business when I was 19 years old. I was in the fashion business. I left school and I decided to start a business because I always said, if someone else can do this, why can't I? We all come from the same place. Everyone I know has been born from their mother's womb. And in life, everybody has a different set of clothes, everybody has a different designers labor in life. But the one thing that makes us equal is death. Death is the great equalizer. I always say Li Ka-shing and his driver will wind up in the same place. Li Ka-shing might be a little bit better, a little luckier in life, but death is the great equalizer. So don't ever think that you're better than someone. Respect everyone, because we're all the same. No matter rich or poor, we all come from the same place. And I've always governed my life that way, by looking at how I can give back to society, how I can be a better person. And if you have the ability, make the world a better place, make Hong Kong a better place. There's no point arguing, no point. Everyone can have ideas, but working together, in English there's a saying, together we stand, divided we fall. Working together within a company is something that's really, really important. So when I was 19, I decided, that's what brought me to Hong Kong. I decided I want to start my own business in the fashion business. Because I was working from the age of 16, when I left school, I was working in a ladies' lingerie company. And I decided I want to be my own boss at 19. Didn't have a lot of money, but I thought, I'll put it together and I'll find a way by being positive. And that's what brought me to Hong Kong. I started to import ladies' fashion sweaters into Canada and the United States. I was living in Montreal at the time. And at the end of my first year in business, I made $1 million US profit at 19. I thought to myself, I'm rich. At the end of the day, I sat down with the accountants and I said, I'll have a check for $1 million. They said, not so fast. I said, why? They said, you have to pay tax. I said, tax? I was a kid. I said, how much? Well, in Canada, it was 50%, 50%. I said, 50%? You're kidding. Who gets the tax? Socialized medicine, socialized this, socialized that. Someone's got to pay for it. And so I started to think $500,000, still a lot of money to a 19-year-old. So I thought, okay, I'll have a check for $500,000. They say, not so fast. I said, you got to pay tax. I just paid tax. That was corporation. Now, personal, in Canada, you have to declare a dividend. And so I think I wound up with around $425,000 out of my $1 million. Still a lot of money to a 19-year-old. But I was in Hong Kong on a buying trip. I said, what's the tax in Hong Kong? They told me 15%. A bright light went off in my head. I thought, how many years am I going to make $1 million? If I move to Hong Kong, I can make more money. And that's what brought me to Hong Kong and literally started me off on the road to be an entrepreneur. I set up a trading company, supply chain management. I had 35 offices around the world, doing business in 35 different countries. The one thing I learned about doing business in each country, every culture is different. Don't try to change the culture. As you go out in life, if you're going to be working with other countries, don't try to change the culture. The culture is older than you. Fit in the way you do business, fit into the culture. Surround yourself with people, when you're in a company, surround yourself with people who like to do the things that you don't like to do. I've met the most famous people in the world. Some are very strong in certain areas, some are weaker in other areas. When you're building a team around you, make sure that they like to do the things that they're good at, the things that you're not. Some good people are good in finance, others are good in literature. Everybody has a different world. And I moved to Hong Kong 48 years ago. And in those years, no one knew where Hong Kong was. I told my late mother, I'm moving to Hong Kong. She said, you're moving to Japan? Because everything was made in Japan. No one knew where Hong Kong was. But I came here, and I love the energy here. I love the people. I love the can-do spirit. And I went to China at a very, very young age. I had my first office in Hunan in Changsha 35 years ago, when China was just opening up. And I saw the changes taking place in China. China, for me, was living in a living history book, watching the changes taking place. And I learned to trust China. I learned to see that China is now the second largest economy in the world. One day, my prediction is it will be the largest economy in the world. And it's changing. The life of the people are getting really, really much, much better than they ever had before. Don't fear China. I know there's a mentality in Hong Kong. A lot of people are against China and think that it's, you know, they're thinking about the old China. Don't make the mistake. The most important thing that I can tell you, the world is changing very, very quickly, very rapidly. I had a whole story about Ocean Park, but I'll leave that because I want to tell you about your future. The world is going through a disruption. The thing that's changing the world is this. This is changing the world. I don't mean Apple phones, but I mean in general, the world is changing because there's disruption in every industry. Financial, I understand you're in the business world. FinTech is the future. Every industry, you know, in my lifetime now, there's two different kinds of people, the older generation and the young generation. Old people still read newspapers. Young people read online. As the older generation dies off, newspapers will disappear. Like the telex machine. A 2-year-old today is on the internet. If you told a 6-year-old that the telex machine, they wouldn't know what you're talking about. And that wasn't so long ago. So things are changing very, very rapidly. Students today, the education system has to change. This is the first time in my life that students are ahead of the school. Students know more than the professors, and unfortunately, standing behind me, same as people our age, because we didn't grow up with technology, but technology is changing the world. The curriculums need to include more technology. And don't fear it, accept it. Have a broad mind. The reason I'm successful, I've accepted everything. I'm open-minded. Everything can do. You can rule the world if you have that attitude. Don't be afraid of challenges. In my world, I always think of first class. I aim for first class. If you aim for first, you'll get to business class. If you aim for business class, you'll get to economy. If you aim for economy, you'll go broke. So trust me, be the best at what you do. Same as in school, when you're in school, be the best in your class. Think differently. Think different than other people. Steve Jobs was one of my heroes. He was able to take a dumb phone that other companies like Motorola, Ericsson, Nokia, all these companies, Blackberries, all these companies disappeared. He was able to take a dumb phone and, not being a technical person, was able to challenge his technical people and built a fantastic phone and literally changed the world. The new technology, VR, virtual reality, AR, AI, all these are new words that within our company, my company is surrounded by young people, and that's what we're working on. Hong Kong needs to change. Hong Kong needs to be at the forefront of technology. Shenzhen, if you look at Shenzhen today, 20 years ago, it was a backwater, it was a farmland. Now, Shenzhen has become the Silicon Valley of the world, not only of China. And so that's something that's really, really important, that we in Hong Kong need to embrace technology. We need to lead the world. We call ourselves Asia's world city. Let's make sure that we do it. And really, it's up to you people in this room that can make tomorrow a much better day. So thank you very, very much. I look forward to staying here in Hong Kong with all of you, and you people in this room making Hong Kong a much, much better place. It's not a bad place right now, but make it much, much better, and think positive, think about tomorrow, and be a great model citizen. Thank you very, very much.